Hey guys, Nick from KN Tech here. This is an unplanned video because I've got a problem with my Corsair Void Pro gaming headset, and if you're having the same problem, I'm going to show you how to fix it. So this is my Corsair Void Pro gaming wireless headset. When I first got it, it's great. I love it. It's a very comfortable headset. The mic quality is reasonable, comfortable on the head. The problem I got when I first got it is the battery life was sort of 15-16 hours or so, and gradually, slowly, that battery life has been going down and down and down. So you'll see when I turn it on, you can see the light here is flashing, no problem at all. But literally it now only lasts about half to 3/4 of an hour. So I've fried the battery basically because I've used it. I've had it for 2.5 years now. So this video is going to be showing you how to take out and replace the battery. Now, if your headset is under 2 years old, it's more than likely going to be still under warranty. In that case, I'd contact Corsair and put in a warranty claim and see if they can send you out a replacement. Failing which, I'm going to show you how to take the battery out and replace it. It's a pretty easy fix. For this task, I'm going to be using my good old iFixit Toolkit and the battery I've managed to source on Amazon. I'm going to put links for these in the description below. Okay, so first things first, we need to get to the battery. And the battery is actually in the right ear cup. And you can tell it's the right ear cup because it's the one that doesn't have the mic attached to it. So let's go ahead and take this off and get to the battery, and then we'll see about getting the parts ordered. So when you take the cup cover off, you'll notice there's 7 screws around the outside. So we're going to take those off so we can remove the earpiece and get to the battery inside. Now, it's worth noting, once you've taken the screws out, be careful when you open up the cover because you're going to have a very fine cable which actually attaches the driver to everything else. So you see what I mean here? It's super fine, so just be careful you don't damage this. If you damage this, you're going to have a hard time getting it soldered back on again. So I'm just going to tuck this out of the side out of the way. So here we'll see the cover for the battery, and there's 3 screws here that hold the cover on, so we're just going to whip those out so we can actually get to the battery itself. And we can see, here's the battery right here. You can see how blown this is. So here's the battery in the cover. We've got the battery out of the cover now, and what we're going to try and do is we're going to get the battery out of the cover. So we're going to do this quite carefully, and I'm going to do this by prising something underneath the battery. And you want to go careful because you want to try and not pierce the battery, because obviously it's a lithium ion or a lithium polymer battery, and lithium doesn't really act very well to the air. So you're going to gently try and get it under and just sort of squeeze. It's only held in by sticky tape, but we just want to try and get it out nice and gently without damaging anything. And there you can see. So this is the state of the battery. As you can see, it's blown. It's super thick. It shouldn't be this thick. It's just blown up. This is where the gases have expanded inside. This is the old battery that I took out. Here's the replacement battery that I've got to put in. Look at the difference in the size between the two of those. You can see how this is nice and tight here. Everything's all shrunk, wrapped around the battery cells, and this one is super squeezy like that. You can see it's a lot fatter. So this is the size of the one I've got to replace it. You can see it's the same length, give or take a little bit, and I should be able to squeeze that in. It's a little bit narrower, so that's no problem going to fit in there, and it's going to be the same width when you put it side by side. This is actually a smaller battery cell unit, but it's actually a higher power. It's 1400 milliamp hours at 3.7 volts. So that should give me a lot better battery life on this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back in. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the battery and I've put a small piece of double-sided sticky tape on the back. That's going to allow me to mount it back in there, like so, no problem. And then that's going to allow me to screw that back on and then get everything back in place. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel that off. There we go, and we're just going to check that before we actually button everything up. Just going to turn the power on and make sure everything comes on. Here we go, you can see it's all lighting up. So I'm going to go ahead, put this all back together again, and then we'll be good to go. Here we can see, oh we go, put the driver back on again. Okay, so I had to start change the plan because the battery, once I put the cover back in, with the thickness of the double-sided tape that I'm using, was actually a little bit too thick and I couldn't get the ear cup back on again. So rather than replace it with this, I'm actually going to do is I'm going to actually use some double-sided tape, and I'm simply going to tape this onto the inside of the ear cup here like this, and just tidy these cables out of the way. It's perfectly acceptable because there's a piece of plastic here which is protecting the LEDs, so I can just put a little bit of double-sided tape on there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that on, a little bit of double-sided tape, and then again just going to peel that off, and when we put it back together again it should all fit nicely. Here we go. Now when I put this on, you should find this fits on quite nicely and allows us to put our ear cup back around like that. Cool, so I'm going to get this screw back up and then put the ear cup on, and then we should be good to go. And there we go. Now we can turn it on. Perfect. And so we just replaced our batteries in our Corsair Void Pro RGB Wi-Fi gaming headset. Now we'll just put the ear cup back on again. Little trick for getting the ear cup back on is if you get a small Phillips screwdriver and you just tuck it underneath the edge that you want to pull back in like that. It's just like kind of putting the tyre back on a bicycle when you were a kid, you know. Alrighty, so there we go. Let's put the cup back on. It's a little tricky to get these plastic cups back slotted in properly, but a little bit of pushing and pulling, and you know, you eventually get them in there. They do fit in fine. It is a tight fit. Obviously you can see it's quite tight and it doesn't actually look like it's been apart, but you just have to kind of jiggle them in a bit. You can see how easy they pop out, but you know, once you just mess around with them like that and get them in, they're fine. And then once you get them on your head, no one's even going to notice that they've actually been modified. So there you have it, guys. That's how you replace the battery in the Corsair Void Pro wireless gaming headset. If you do follow this link, if you do follow this video and replace the battery, please do not just tuck your old battery in the bin. Take it to a recycling centre so it can be dealt with properly. I'll put a link in the description below for the replacement battery, also for the iFixit toolkit, and I'll also put a link in the description below for a headset like this. It's not exactly the same anymore. They don't make the Void Pro anymore. They make the Void Elite, which is basically exactly the same design, but they've changed the drivers in the earpieces. Awesome, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe and press the notification button so you can see when new videos are up. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.